My name is Ian Dickinson. I'm a farmer in Tasmania, an island south of the mainland of Australia. I've been a farmer all my life. Started farming in the family farm in the southern part of Tasmania, very close to our capital city. Unfortunately, in 1967, bushfires burnt our farm badly. My father suggested that I should go and look for land somewhere else. So I spent a year travelling around the mainland of Australia looking to buy some land to farm. Came back to Tasmania 1 year later and bought this farm that I'm currently managing now. Since that time we've bought 3 other properties adjoining the original farm. It was largely a forested block when we bought it, so in 1972 the state of Tasmania got an export licence to sell wood chips to Japan to make paper. So I was able to sell a lot of my old native forest that was very degraded, and through that process we were able to generate some income to help develop the farm as an agricultural enterprise. But I realised that planting trees and having trees on our farm was an important part of our business. So we proceeded to start replanting some trees and managing our forests and native forests differently. So we planted some radiata, that's softwood plantations, which the early ones we've now harvested and replanted. In latter years we've planted hardwood eucalypt species for mainly paper making, and I soon realised that it was really important for farms to have a timber resource maintained on their farm for in Australia we don't have any government support systems for agricultural products. So I made a decision 40 years ago that having a timber resource as part of our business was a protection against those very low agricultural commodity prices. And that's what I've tried to do with this property, so that when the next generation take it over, the value of the forests will be much greater than when I bought them 40 years ago. We have planted many other trees on the farm for biodiversity reasons, water quality reasons, aesthetics, making it a more pleasant environment for our people to work in, more shelter for our livestock and crops, and it certainly helps with the biodiversity, with attracting bird life, etc. It is an issue when you want to put in a centre pivot irrigator. So we have had to harvest some trees out of the way of our irrigation systems, but that's the other potential disadvantage is that they can become a haven for excessive numbers of wildlife. The other issue is the roots from trees can extend quite a long way into your pasture, into your paddocks, so it can impact a short distance in from your trees, but I would argue that the advantage you get from shade and shelter would outweigh any disadvantage in that respect. We currently run between 900 and 1,000 cows, an Angus beef herd, and 3,000 meat sheep ewes that produce about 150% lambing. So and on top of that we grow some vegetables for Simplot, mainly canning peas or frozen peas, grass seed crops. The next major development on this farm, my view would be to do some serious drainage work to our waterlogged soils. But people sometimes ask me what I do for a living, and I tell them I'm in the energy business. and they straight away think I probably sell oil or gas. But in effect, farmers are in the energy business. We harvest sunshine, the energy from the sun, we combine it with nutrients from the soil and water when it rains, or irrigation, to produce all the basic needs of life, in effect, our food and our fibre. And the one thing that's constant about agriculture is change. So we're constantly being challenged to change what we do, find more efficient ways to produce food and fibre, and that's what gets us out of bed of a morning.